we're jealous, we're envious. And we don't want to admit it to ourselves, but it's true, and here's why. Because the closer we get around them, the worse that we feel about ourselves. And it's such an insidious thing because there's very little on the surface. The monster of jealousy hides so well that consequently we don't think that we have a problem with it, and so we don't deal with it. Here's what we do. We just kind of avoid the people that we tend to be jealous of. And we say things like this. Well, he's just too nice. Yeah, that's it. That's why I don't like him. He's just too nice, so I don't hang around him. Or, she's too pretty. She's just so plastic, sort of, Barbie dollish. And she's just too happy. So I'm just uncomfortable around her. Or we say things like this, and we've all said this. We say, well, if I had that much money, I certainly wouldn't have spent it like that. And so we look at people, and we're critical because they've bought something that we could never afford, or they live somewhere where we will probably never live, and we say, well, if I had that much money, yada, yada, yada. You see, we don't want to say that it's envy, and we don't want to say that it's jealousy, so we say things like this. Well, I'm a better steward. I'm more careful. I just, don't choose to live my life that way. But here's the thing, church. Underneath all these words that we say, there's just something about these people that really get to us. My friend, if we were dealing with those kinds of feelings, chances are it's because we're envious or jealous. But we would never say that, so we just mask it behind phrases like, well, I just don't care for that person. I just don't agree with their philosophy, how they do things. I really just, as a person, I don't like them. But here's the hideous truth about this. When we say those kind of things and feel those kind of feelings, it's because these people that we don't care for, when we look at them, they're a reflection of something that we're not. And they're a reflection of something that we wish we were. And they remind us of the things that we hope for and wish for but don't have. And rather than taking a deeper look at the problem, we just look at these people and we say, they're the problem. Sometimes we mask this jealousy, envy thing by playing the fairness card. It's not fair. Because my husband, he works as hard as her husband, and it's not as fair because we've scrimped and saved, and our kids have studied as hard as their kids, and it's not fair because we didn't get there first, they did, and it's not fair because they've been in the community longer than we have. It's not fair. And so we kind of distance ourselves from these people. And we kind of hide and camouflage our jealousy by saying it's not fair. But the truth is, and I want you to hear me, don't miss this. We really don't want what's fair. You see, fair would be equal distribution of wealth, talent, and health throughout the world. And if that were to happen to us today, all of us here would take several major steps backwards. So honestly, let's be honest, we don't want fair. We think we're the kind of people that want fair, but we really don't want fair. You know what we want? We want more. We just want to be even or a little bit ahead of those around us. We don't want fair. Think about it. These people that have more than we do, what do we want? We want to drive what they drive. We want to live like they live. We want to dress like they dress. We want to fit into what they fit into. We want a full head of hair like they have. We want to be able to hang out, with these people. In other words, we cover all this with fair, but really, it's not about fair, because if God were to ask us point blank, do you want fair? We would say, no, I don't want fair, because fair is going to take me backwards. I don't want to go backwards in my life. Hey, I want to go forward. So you see, this fairness card and this I just don't care for them attitude, do you know what it really is? It's an excuse for all the crud that's in our hearts. And we really do need an excuse for this junk in our heart that we're afraid to look at, because if we were really to look at it, we might just come to the conclusion that we're jealous after all. We might just have to admit, hey, I'm jealous of her. I'm jealous of him. I'm jealous of what they have. I'm jealous of where they've been and what they've accomplished. I'm jealous of what their kids have accomplished. I'm jealous of where their kids go to school. But we just kind of mask all this in other terms. But the truth, my friends, the truth of the matter is, all of us struggle to some degree with jealousy. It's evident by sin. And the thing about jealousy, now get this. The thing about jealousy that is so weird is that even if we had more, even if we suddenly got all these things that these other people have, it wouldn't resolve the issue. Because jealousy is a heart issue. Jealousy isn't a circumstance issue. Jealousy is a heart issue. And here's why. Again, suddenly if we would get all these things that we want, guess what? We would still be jealous because it would just shift to somebody else. Because, hey, there are always bigger fish. There are always smarter kids. There's always somebody making more money. There's always somebody working about 10% as hard as we're working, and they're making about 50% more than we're working. And it doesn't make sense, but it's true. There's always somebody. So even if we were to get more, it still wouldn't resolve the issue because jealousy is a heart issue. Now, church, hear me. The reason why this message is so important, and this whole sermon series is important, is because we're coming in sharp contrast with the belief systems out in the world. In our world, you know what? We don't think jealousy is a heart issue at all. We think that jealousy is a people issue. I think that you're my problem, and you think that I'm your problem. And so we distance ourselves from the problem, and we say to ourselves, well, if I stay away from him or her, or that group of people, then I'll be all right because they're my problem. But here's the thing. You're not my problem, and I'm not your problem. And the reason I know that is because I can't solve your problem, and you can't solve mine. There's nothing you can do to solve my jealousy. But I think what happens is that we get so misdirected by these emotions that we blame other people for the stuff that's in our heart. And this creepy stuff sort of ricochets from our heart out to other people, and then we mistreat them. And we kind of remove ourselves from a certain group of people because we think that they or he or she or you is the problem. But again, the reason I know you're not my problem is you can't solve my problem. In fact, get this, it's kind of funny. The only thing you do is magnify the fact that I do have a problem. Let me ask you this question. What makes jealous people feel better about themselves? What makes a jealous person feel like, don't have to feel so bad about me anymore. In fact, I can kind of like you now. Causes the jealousy to sort of subside. Here's the answer. Get ready, it's ugly. If I'm jealous of you when you fail, I feel better. I might just could be your friend after all. You know, you wrecked your car? Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, did you see her on the beach this summer? I don't think she looked quite as good as she did last summer. And we walk away, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-doo-dah. Feel much better about my life today. Hey! That's the ugly monster of jealousy. Now take that truth, church. Come on, take that truth and shut it down in your own life where it fits. See, it's that part of us that acts like we're sorry when bad things happen to people we don't care for. But when we walk away, we go, yes. And maybe we don't say it out loud. Most of us probably don't. But in our hearts, we're just a little bit happier. And then we say, man, I shouldn't feel like that. I'm a Christian, I shouldn't feel like that. Where did those feelings come from? And the answer is our heart. Those feelings came from my jealous heart, my envious heart. But here's the thing. What we don't tend to understand is that the people that cause jealousy to surface in us, they're not the problem. The people that cause envy to surface in us, they can't address our problem and they can't help us. Because our problem is